Hello and welcome to Horror Rewind. This is Kelly Florence.
And I'm Meg Hofdahl.
And this week, our movie that we're rewatching is Bloodhook.
And this was watching for me. I didn't see it.
Oh yes, watching, not even rewatching. So, first of all,
yeah.
How was your week? Because I know that you were in Houston this week.
I was. So, we live up here in Minnesota, but I went down to Houston. My book publisher is down there. And I went down there for some meetings, and I also did a panel teaching how to write suspense and thrillers. So it was really fun. Yeah, You're the teacher, so I don't know what I was doing.
Well, if there's any listeners out there who are looking for some advice in writing suspense or horror or thrillers, what advice would you give them?
You know, I think the biggest advice I gave at this panel was just write. That's like my general writing. Yeah,
it's kind of like an instrument. You have to practice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. And when I was doing this panel, I was kind of focusing more on the actual genre, and I was saying, you know, when people read like a Regency romance, they go there for the comfort. They want to be wrapped in the comfort of knowing what's going to happen. But when people read suspense, they want to be completely shocked and be on a roller coaster ride. So just like Bloodhook.
Woo!
So so it was fun. I felt like I learned a lot about how to, you know, public squeaking.
That's like a dad joke. What are you doing?
Sorry. Is that I feel like, is that Michael Scott? Is that like a Michael Scott joke? Or like, I feel like it was cool. It was like from the British Office or something. It was a reference. Not a dad joke, I promise.
Oh, it's cool. Okay.
Yeah. What did you do this week? What's up?
You know, I'm just working. I'm teaching, and it's coming towards the end of the semester, so that's always good. But you know what? I rewatched Bloodhook. So I have to tell you, this is like a random one, right? People do not know this movie, and I had to pick it as my rewatch because it was at the video store that was 3 miles from my house. And I know it was 3 miles because I lived in the country and I would bike there. So I knew 3 miles there, 3 miles back.
Back in like the 80s when kids would bike around.
Yeah, no.
With no one.
Yeah. And so I would bike, and there was a small horror section there, but Bloodhook was usually there. It was never checked out, so I would check it out a lot. And
would your sister watch it with you?
No.
Because I feel like this is not up her alley.
No, my sister did not watch any horror movies. So let me tell you, my sister's idea of a horror movie is like the first Jurassic Park movie. And I think when it came out, she was probably like 17.
Yeah.
And she had to sleep on my parents' floor for like a week.
Wow.
So
she's the opposite of you.
She's the opposite. But no, my dad would watch Bloodhook with me, and you know, it was great. So let me tell you a little bit of history about this movie.
Okay.
It came out in 1986, and it is through Troma, which, you know, Troma is famous for all these terrible horror movies. Maybe not terrible. Some people would define them as that, like Toxic Avenger and movies like that. It was directed by Jim Mallon, and also working on this was Kevin Murphy. And these guys, if you are familiar with Mystery Science Theater 3000, they're famous for that. So They met, actually, on this movie.
Oh, that's cool.
They both attended the University of Wisconsin in Madison, and then they have Minnesota ties as well. Kevin actually still lives in Minnesota. And this was all filmed in Hayward, Wisconsin, which is pretty close to where I live now. This is in northern Wisconsin. And so I think part of this allure of this movie was it's in Minnesota, we're the land of 10,000 lakes, and it's this northern fishing culture and resort culture and lakes, and the summer, the people coming up from Illinois or from the big cities out to the lakes in the summer. It's this culture, and it was my childhood, and it's still my life. I see a lot of this.
That's what I was thinking when I was watching it. I was like, this is why Kelly chose this movie. It's so northern Minnesota.
It is. Even though it's northern Wisconsin, it could be set in northern Minnesota. And yes, it's just fascinating. So I have not rewatched this since my childhood. I probably have not seen this since I was 12, which is kind of cool because it fell off the face of the earth after it wasn't at the video store anymore. It is available on YouTube, so you can watch the whole thing. there, but I never got it on DVD. I never saw it on DVD. I think it is available now, but it's been a long time. And you never saw this one.
I had never heard of it, never seen it. I do want to encourage you guys to go, if you go on YouTube and watch it, there's some comments. I actually wrote down some of the comments of people who had seen the filming. It was just fun.
Wait, the filming?
Yeah, this person said, this is Tom J 528. He wrote it 2 years ago. He says, I was up in Hayward, Wisconsin the summer that this was filmed. We watched them build the shack for the movie and do some filming. My brother had a job with the film crew, and I rode with him to deliver the film to Duluth so it could be FedExed to, I think, New York. It was a long time ago, and I was only 16. It was filmed on the Spider Lake chain, and compared to now, was pretty cut off back then. No UPS or FedEx deliveries, TV reception, no videotape rentals.
Wow.
So that was kind of cool. And then somebody said, I didn't write down who it was, but they said, yes, I grew up in Hayward and saw the Big Fish Muskie Fishing Hall of Fame come in on 4 big semis. I went and watched them filming on Main Street and was so excited. So it was just kind of cool. Wow. So yeah, you guys should go and scroll through the YouTube comments.
It's fascinating. So this movie, I didn't write down the budget, but I can't imagine it was much of a budget. But it's just fascinating. They start off in this grandpa with his grandson. He's playing this reel-to-reel player on the dock, and Bloodhook, you've got to know, there's going to be some spoiler alerts here, people, but I don't think it's going to ruin your enjoyment of the film. Someone's fishing for people, and it's not going to end well.
Someone's literally fishing for people.
Yeah. It's not like
I didn't know that's what was happening.
Wait.
I literally wrote mermaids, question mark.
Oh, at the beginning?
Yes. Because he jumps in. I didn't see anything at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
So he looked like the grandpa jumped into me with no reason. And I was like, I said mermaids. I said he just jumps in.
Well,
and then I was kind of creeped out. I was like, whoa.
Well, okay, so here comes a spoiler alert for maybe you got this later. I hope you did. I think he was a vet. And
yes,
the music was affecting him.
Oh, it was the music. Okay, because the music affected the other guy.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started on Ludke. Okay.
So, first of all, they show this contraption that brings people up and down the hill to the lake, and you just know it's going to come into play later. And it's really just cool. It's great. So you don't have to walk. Oh, and then so the tourists, how these tourists are portrayed. They're coming from Illinois and Chicago.
They are my favorite characters. That family
They're the best.
Are my favorite character. I mean, the whole family. I love them.
No,
they come in on their RV.
Yes, they are the best.
Oh my god, you guys.
Okay, so no, these people are the best.
The mom.
Oh, I love the mom. She's the best, and the son, like his acting.
Oh, the mom and the son. They're the best. The mom is obsessed with loons, and she can't. She's like us. She can't figure out the difference between Henry Fonda and Peter Fonda.
Yes, it's great.
She
does that typical mom
She doesn't know,
and she keeps doing a loon call. It is the best.
She was my favorite character. I was really disappointed when she died.
So something that you hear, and I guess this is true for like Wisconsin Dells culture and that whole northern not that Wisconsin Dells is northern, but northern Wisconsin area as well, is that these people will come up from Illinois, from Chicago for the weekend, and they call them citydiots because they're from the big city and they're coming to our neck of the woods.
Shots
and
fired,
and they think that they know what they're doing and they don't really know how to fish. And so these tourists are that, and then these kids that come up too, they too.
Of course, the requisite group of teenagers.
Yes, of course. Like they're playing music. The old folks don't like their music. All of the people here in northern Wisconsin are portrayed as hicks and hunters and fishermen, and it's a lot of stereotypes. I mean, obviously for some humor, but yeah, it's the Illinois kids are very cultured and cool.
Oh my god, they're so cool, so 80s cool. Like I wrote down a quote. One of the local girls says to one of the cool girls, she's like, I like your hair, it's great. And she's like, I've been in the car all day.
Yeah.
That was her response to her saying she liked her hair. I'm like, wow.
Bechdel test passed.
yeah, there was the Bechdel test. They talked about hair. The Muskie Madness contest.
Yes, which was the original title of this movie. So this is the thing, and I remember my dad explaining it to me when I watched this when I was little. He's like, these musky fish are so big that they use these ginormous lures. He didn't use the word ginormous, but I am. But these lures are so huge, and you're like, well, this is ridiculous. Why would you ever use a fishing lure that big? But the muskies are so big, you need them, and they're great for catching people.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't even believe. I came into the movie not knowing like what.
You didn't even know what it was about.
No, I had no idea what it was about. I didn't know who the bad guy was going to be. So, when it literally is somebody getting wrapped up in, like, a fish... It was the mom, right?
Yeah,
she got,
the first...
Darn, I like her so much.
She got lured in by a loon.
It's so great. Her spin on the dock before she gets...
It was the best.
It was magnificent.
It's my favorite.
I wrote... The Trumper, the guy that obviously voted for Trump, the guy that has so many guns in front of that nice cabin. And might I add, that cabin I would actually stay in.
Oh.
How many horror movies would you say that about?
Not a lot.
No one's going to stay at the Evil Dead cabin. No one.
Right.
But this cabin was really nice.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, so there's this fishing contest.
Yes, musky madness.
You can just tell there's some people trying to rig it by putting a pipe in the fish, and there's the guy who's feeding the fish. They've never seen a lake. He's just feeding them to get them too heavy. And this in that fishing culture is heresy. This would be crazy.
There's a lot of fishing culture in this movie.
But you know what? I know we're talking about the mom who just got killed with her loon call. But how about the mom who leaves her baby and goes for a run?
Even the guy, this is the 80s, even the young guy was like he even thought it was weird. And she's like, oh, people say it's neglectful. She literally left her baby in a playpen out in the forest. What the hell?
When she went for a run. Oh, and P.S., she's married, but she, had sex with this teenage guy.
Yeah, her moral compass is a little broken.
So, I wrote 3 exclamation points after that she left her baby.
Yeah, that part was just like, wow. I mean, come on.
And, wait a minute, the baby almost succumbed to the
that
hook.
part was scary because the baby was, by the water. Because, again, 80s mom, she's like, there's no murderers out there. She just let him go, and the hook, got his leg or something.
Yeah, no, the hook got the baby's leg.
And he was, a little, that part
that
was
is
scary.
Something I did not remember.
Worried.
I know.
I was worried.
So these things affect me more now than they did back then.
I know.
Also, another Bechdel test passed here. The 2 Illinois girls have a conversation on the dock.
That's when I was like, well, I guess we passed the Bechdel test. They were talking about meditation.
Yes. So I was never really scared of this movie, obviously. It's cheesy and it's silly and it's funny, but it's not as cheesy as I thought I remembered it being. I mean, obviously...
There's some good gore in it.
Yeah, there's some good scary parts. And despite its comedy... it gets at that thing of, the horror of real people doing horrific things, and that's what makes it scary, is that this is just a guy, a creepy guy, and he's not doing good things. You guys,
it's Ludke. He was so sweet in the beginning. They make you think it was the guy that they dressed up to look old.
Okay, so, yeah, red herring... And let's put in as many fish puns as we can.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, so that guy,
nice pool.
He absolutely, they did say nice pool. That guy absolutely, had gray in his hair, but then in the later scene in the boat, he has brown hair. So this guy is not old, and they tried to make him look old.
Yeah, they were really trying to age. They put, a hearing aid on him, and so it was awkward. Yeah, but he wasn't the bad guy, you guys. It was Lucky, who was so sweet.
But you also think it's the paranoid bearded man, who ends up being the jogging woman's husband.
Oh, the guy with all the guns.
Yes, that's also a red herring, and he's not the bad guy.
Nope. How does he die? Does he die? I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
There was a lot of people died.
So there's this night swim. They go for this night swim.
Come on, guys.
And that sounds lovely.
This is post Jaws. What are they thinking?
But so first of all, I would love to night swim, but probably in a pool, not a lake. Yeah. Because if I felt a fish swim by my leg or a hook in my back, it would be over.
Oh gosh, there's so many good hook moments. The guy loses his ear.
That's one of my favorites.
Did you when you were a kid?
Yes,
were you like,
I remember.
Okay, this is amazing.
Yes, I remember the hook.
You guys, he was killing these people to feed to his minnows. Was that what it was?
Well,
to feed
Well, he was grinding them up to
he was
be
grinding
fish
them
bait,
up.
basically.
Yeah, he was grinding people. They show him grinding. That was kind of cool.
This, I'm skipping ahead for a moment, but you know how when you string fish under a dock or whatever, you have to put the pole or the hook thing through the bottom of their jaw and up through their mouth? They do that with the people in this, and that is
it looked good though.
It looked so good, and it was terrifying.
Okay.
When he does it to the guy who loses his hair, it is.
It looked
terrifying.
good.
Yeah.
Like that, I was like, wow, for like, you know, a low budget, you know, sort of on that cheesy end type movie, that it looked really good.
And when he's pulling all the bodies from underneath the dock, I mean,
it's a little funny, but it's also creepy.
Yeah, it's totally creepy because he's killing these people and he's just got them floating down there.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. Okay, the boy says something fishy's going on. and I was wondering, you know, they keep showing these people fishing at night. Do people really fish at night? You're not the person to ask.
No, I'm literally not. I'm sorry, I just saw a note I wrote. He has intestines and ice cream in his fridge. Did you notice he had intestines in his fridge?
Didn't.
And just ice cream.
Oh.
Remember when they found the intestines in his fridge?
Yeah.
Oh, and also what was so funny, I was talking about Jaws, and this is such a Jaws thing, was, like, the mayor doesn't want, or was it the mayor or somebody, like, they don't care if there's murder. Like, the most important thing is the Muskie. The Muskie
Right.
Madness contest.
We can't let
that happens in so many horror movies where they're like, no.
The chief of police doesn't want to,
yeah, we don't care that there was a body. Like, that's not a big deal. Oh, Rodney. Do you know who I'm talking about? Rodney.
Which one is
with
Rodney?
the earring.
Oh, yeah. He
was, like, one of the best characters.
I know, he was.
And he died too early, too.
I know.
Loved him. He said something great, like, oh, some fish had, like, a clip on it. He's like, yeah, it's the 80s. Everybody wears cool shit in the 80s. I'm like, okay.
You know, something that surprised me about this rewatch, I actually related more to the older people being annoyed by the young people's music. And I understood, like, that they just wanted it to be silent once in a while, because that is so rare in my life, if there's no noise.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, I'm like an old person now.
I think that's fair that you're relating to the old people. That's what happens. That's really what happens.
So, speaking of silence and noise, this is a spoiler, but what the explanation ends up being is that the combination of the cicadas, which are these...
What? I didn't even hear that part.
Yeah, the bugs, the combination of the cicadas and the notes that they play at or make their sound at, and the combination of that and music actually drives these vets crazy, in this vet in particular, because they did experimental things on him, and he's got plates in his head and all that.
Right, he's got metal in his head. I got that part. And then
so
and
it's
his
so
helmet
stupid, but it's
wrecked.
also brilliant, right?
Well, yeah, it's actually kind of a more complicated, sort of thing going on. Than
right, it's not
think.
just he's
in
not
a movie
just,
called Blood Hook.
Right, he's not just a bad guy. There's a reason he's a bad guy. So, and it's also for a trauma movie. It doesn't blatantly like wink at the audience as much as.
No, it was pretty straightforward. Yeah, no, it was definitely straightforward. I mean, I think again, it has cheeky moments, but yeah. Yeah. The guy. Okay, remember that you don't remember the intestines in the fridge?
I don't know why.
He was holding the intestines, and he's like, the sheriff won't buy it. There's no bodies.
Oh yes, no, I do remember that.
And I was like, I feel like this bowl of intestines
that could
maybe
probably be good evidence, but yeah, he said they couldn't charge with murder if there was no body.
There's just a bowl of intestines.
They could have just fallen
There were
out.
so many great quotes. I wrote Kirsten. She's the stereotypical like cool girl. She's like, fishing is rude. That was one of my favorite ones.
There's a few more puns. They talk about flapping your gills. They were fishing for something like compliments, and then they talk about somebody being a sucker. Oh, the boom boxes were fantastic throughout.
Oh my gosh! I said Saved by the Boombox.
Yes.
Saved by the Boombox. And I said, would an iPhone have worked? I don't think so. It needed to be a boombox.
So the contraption that brings you up and down the hill, it came into play again when the girl needs to get away. Wouldn't there have been stairs? Shouldn't she have used her adrenaline to get away from a killer by climbing some stairs?
Was that Kirsten? Who was that? No, that was Anne. The girlfriend of the main guy. And the main guy, he was kind of...
Yeah,
I liked Rodney.
I know. But he wasn't blonde.
He wasn't blonde. But yeah, the main guy was alright. He like had this connection that his grandfather was like the guy in the beginning who died and stuff. But I liked when near the end when Anne is like in the refrigerator talking.
Oh my God.
What I'm talking about?
Yes.
She was just casual.
Like how... Okay, first of all, don't try this at home, kids, because you would not survive overnight in a refrigerator.
And she was just like chatting. She was so casual about that this murderer who was grinding up
She was very calm.
She was really calm. So there was no moment where somebody had to say, calm down, woman. So that was nice.
Something that I thought was going to come up, and I thought maybe I had blocked it out, the cover art for Blood Hook, and we posted it on our social media, is a woman is scantily clad in a bikini and getting hooked with a fish hook. And I was like, oh no, there's probably a bunch of gratuitous nudity and all of these women being objectified, but there really isn't. And that moment never happens. It's that cover art was just bait.
The cover, bait. I like it. To get guys in 8-year-old Kelly.
Yeah, yes, to rent it. And so, there's much more blatant examples of movies of this era that objectify women.
I mean, definitely the 80s is known for that. But the only thing I did write along the lines of that, though, is, like, Anne was, like, jealous of Kirsten for some reason.
Yeah, I don't understand
I didn't get... There was, like, some sort of jealousy backstory with the two women, of course. But, yeah, that's true. There wasn't even, like, a bikini scene or anything like that. Okay, questions. Did it live up to your memories of it?
It sounds strange, but it was better than I remembered because I truly thought it was more cheesy than it was. And that cover art stuck in my memory. I was thinking it was going to be
more sexualized and stuff.
And it wasn't. It was actually... It was a good moment.
There were more fetishizing shots in Carrie of women than of women in this movie. Did any scenes stand out to you in the rewatch?
The creepy putting the hook through the guy's chin and stringing him like a fish.
Yeah,
really stuck out with me. Like that was well done. That was a good scene, and it was terrifying.
Is that like their commentary on?
Yeah, maybe of what do we do
sustainable
to fish?
fishing. Anything you didn't remember?
Well, I definitely didn't remember any sort of plot and why people did anything. I mean, none of that
the cicada thing
went to me.
Way over my head. I didn't even hear that.
I definitely didn't remember that. And I did not remember that woman who likes to work out had a baby that she left in the yard, and he got hooked by a hook in the leg. I did not remember any of that.
Yeah, mother of the year right there.
Wait, did she die? And where's the baby?
She died. I remember when she slept with that guy. He was like, "Where's your baby?" And she's like, "He's with somebody."
Okay. So he'll probably.
I guess the baby's okay.
Okay.
It's been 30 years, so it'll be all right. How did the movie age?
Well, I think it's definitely 80s. It's so cheesy, but I just think it's lovely. It still looks like fishing towns here.
It's not like those towns have changed that much since the 80s.
No, I don't think so.
Does it pass the Bechdel test?
Barely. There were those couple of scenes.
Yeah,
but not great.
Not great. What was it scary at the time, and is it scary now?
No, I don't ever remember being scared of it. It was. I always thought it was kind of cheesy, and no, it's not scary now. But I think it's worth a watch. It's a fun movie.
Oh, I definitely think so. Did you watch it on YouTube?
I did.
Did you have that long trauma introduction?
Yes, trauma is like begging for
They're
money,
begging.
and they're desperate, and they're throwing a bunch of people under the bus.
Yeah, no, you guys should check it out, though. I think that for a trauma film, and if you're interested in trauma, if you're interested in supporting like old independent horror movies, this is my first time, and I thought it was really fun. Yeah, it was a good movie, and I feel like I know more about you now.
Oh, good. Especially, I plugging where we live, but I think if you grew up in this area, that area of northern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, or any area really that had that culture of the fishing or the resort cabin people, it spoke a lot to me, and it felt like home. So
this movie is worth watching just for the family.
Oh my gosh, that one family.
The one family. They were the best.
Oh, and the
Their
mom with
accents,
the loon call, yes.
Just watch it for that, I promise.
Now we have our fast forward segment, and it's Meg's turn. So what are you going to talk to us about this week?
Well, there's a movie I want to recommend if you guys haven't watched it yet. And basically how I'm tying it into Bloodhook is that it was filmed in the North Woods, and it's called I Am Not a Serial Killer.
Awesome.
So Kelly and I watched this again because, yeah, like I said, Kelly is the only person who watched horror movies with me. Not that I need somebody to watch them with me. I watched all these rewatches by myself. Okay, I'm trying to find my notes. I Am Not a Serial Killer is just a really good, and, it's independent, just like, well, I don't know if you can call Bloodhook independent. It's a trauma film, but I Am Not a Serial Killer is just a really good movie. Like, I enjoyed it.
So, interesting fact, it was filmed in mostly or all in Virginia, Minnesota, and that's near where Meg's husband is from, and near where I am from. And so I grew up visiting this town and working in this town, and to see it on film it's just fascinating to see a place that you're from.
It was really cool, and that's why we started watching the movie, because I was like, well, I just want to see this movie that it's filmed in my husband's hometown, and it actually ended up being really good. It's starring Christopher Lloyd, which we all know from, well, I know him from Clue. That's my favorite Christopher Lloyd movie, but most people like Back to the Future. Max Records, who's the little boy in, what's the name of that movie? Where the Wild Things Are. And Laura Frazier, who is in Breaking Bad, which we all love that. And it's just an incredibly atmospheric, good movie about this guy, this kid in high school, and it's based on a novel. I believe it's a British novel, but the movie is all American actors. And he has these sort of urges to kill, and he ends up in this small little town. And apparently the town in the book is in North Dakota. But yeah, it was filmed in Minnesota. And he sort of witnesses this murder, and well, I won't give anything away, but anyway, it's just a really well done movie. I watched it twice because my husband actually would watch this one because it was filmed in his hometown. He did cover his eyes, but it's just a really sort of slow, but in a very moody, well-paced way, and it's just a great movie. It's on Netflix. It's brand new. It just came out last year. Anything else to say about it, Kelly? What did you think?
Well, something that I love about it is the storytelling and how they reveal the story through imagery and just the small conversations that he's having. And I won't give away any spoilers either. I think you should go watch it. But it's just so well done, and it builds well. And the actor is great, and I haven't seen him in anything besides this, but the lead. What's his name?
Max Records. Yeah.
But I think he's got a future, more of a future. I mean, he's obviously done stuff in the past, but great actor, great mood, excellent storytelling.
Yeah, and I haven't read the book. It came out in 2009, and it actually looks like 5 installments of this. It's the John Wayne Cleaver. Well, it's supposed to be a trilogy, but then they actually added a 4th and a 5th. So the 5th one came out called Over Your Dead Body, came out in May. I haven't read any of them, but I was really intrigued when I saw that. I was like, oh, that'd be kind of interesting. And apparently the author, Dan Wells, he was saying that in the UK, because the main character is a teenager, it's considered YA horror, but in the US and other countries, it's marketed to both YA and adult, which I thought was kind of interesting, because I had heard that I'm Not a Serial Killer was based on a YA book, and I was kind of confused when we were watching it. It didn't seem like that for sure. So anyway, I really recommend this movie. It's just a really well done sort of horror thriller, very kind of quiet, good movie.
And another thing that's interesting about this, and talking about young adult fiction and horror, it's another perspective of high school and high school life and life in a small town, and I think all of that is fascinating. And I'm thinking about our own childhoods, and I think a lot of the fiction, at least that I came into contact with, wasn't necessarily geared towards kids like me. And
no,
I mean, I was reading Stephen King, and that's not, it's not a young adult.
We weren't the target audience.
Right. So, there's Babysitter's Club and things like that were popular, and it wasn't necessarily what I was looking for. So something like this, maybe it's not exactly young adult for everybody, but
yeah, we're not saying go out and buy it for your kids. We don't know. We haven't read it. But it's so cool to know that those books, YA horror, why was not around?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I was reading Goosebumps, but that's not the same, you guys. So yeah, check out I'm Not a Serial Killer. Last time I checked, it was on Netflix. So should still be there.
All right, great. Oh, now we have to rate the movies this week. And so we're going to rate them with hooks.
Yeah.
Because, Blood Hook is a hook.
Bobber. What's a bobber?
Well, a bobber is...
the bobber, was it on the hook? Was that thing a bobber? What do you call that?
I mean, I guess so. A bobber is really, when you're fishing and it floats so that it lets you know that the fish has grabbed onto the hook and it pulls it underwater so you can pull it back in.
So what was that thing on the hook?
I think it was just like
part of the hook.
Yeah, it was part to hold onto the hook so that you can move it and it looked like a fish.
He was strong, by the way. He could pull people.
Oh yeah, he had some thick line there.
Yeah,
he had some thick line there, And now we're gonna get some angry fishermen.
Yeah.
We're gonna be victims of the blood hook tonight.
We were here to listen about fishing. This fishing podcast is terrible.
They don't even know what the strength of line is. Okay, so our rating system: 1 hook being not great, terrible; 10 hooks being I loved it. It was amazing. What would you rate Blood Hook?
I mean, it's so hard.
Wait, let me rate it first.
Yeah, you rate it first.
Movie. I'm going to give it 5 hooks.
Okay.
And I think 5 is generous. It surpassed my memories. I thought it was going to be worse, so it actually surprised me that it wasn't terrible. So I'm giving it 5 hooks. What would you give it?
I think I would give it. I'll give it 4.5 hooks because I agree. I actually thought it was going to be worse. It was fun. I'm glad I watched it. It was cheesy in a kind of a delightful way.
Not in an obnoxious way.
Not in an obnoxious way.
There are some cheesy
and not in a
movies.
boring way either. I wasn't bored.
Oh, that's good.
But would I go out and tell horror fans you've got to watch Blood Hook? Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Oh, something I should mention is we might disagree in the future, and that's okay. And so you'll just hear a microphone across the room. No,
yeah. That will be fun when we have some more polarizing movies.
So if I pick a movie and you hate it, it's okay if you tell me that, and vice versa.
I know when I was writing the notes for Night of the Living Dead, I was like, I felt like everything I was writing was sassy, and I was like, Kelly's gonna talk about how like this movie has like changed her life and it's so important, and I'm gonna be like, that was so stupid when they did that. So
no, it's okay if you insult any
ditto,
movie or
ditto.
Blood Hook or whatever.
Yeah, ditto.
Okay, so
yeah, okay.
The Hook rating also we're using for I'm Not a Serial Killer.
Okay.
How many hooks would you give it?
I'd give it 8 hooks. It was a really good movie.
Yeah, I think 8 is my number as well for I'm Not a Serial Killer. It hooked me, but
oh, okay. We can't do any better than that. That was good.
So remember, if you're looking for us and information about our podcast, you can find us at Horror Rewind on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You can also find us on our YouTube channel. You can find us anywhere you find horror movies. We're probably there. And Meg, if we want to read some of your short stories, do you have any fishing stories?
No, but I do have a short story called The Pit that's going to be featured on, and it takes place in the water, and that is
but also in northern Minnesota, right?
And also in northern Minnesota, and that is going to be featured on the Wicked Library podcast. They are producing it, and so that's sort of a tie-in. That'll be next month, I believe. Okay. But I also want to tell people we'd love to hear from you. So let us know if you've watched Blood Hook and what you thought about it. And also hit us up about our next movie we're going to be watching. Oh,
so we're going to put a link to the podcast that Meg's story will be featured on.
Yes.
And then also we're going to preview our next episode, which is Meg's choice. And Meg, what did you pick for next time?
I picked a very important movie to me, Hush, Hush, Sweet Charlotte.
All right. Awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing you.